to Brett Kavanaugh. This will be the first time a Supreme Court justice has ever sworn in a former clerk to take his seat. A beautiful moment which reminds us that freedom is a tradition passed down from generation to generation. It is up to us to rededicate ourselves to the traditions and wisdom of our founders. And it is up to us to renew the bonds of love, loyalty, and affection that link us all together as one great American family.
So we're back together again as a country.
Thank goodness. Did it do the trick? Let's bring in Sean Spicer, former White House press secretary and spokesman for America First Action. So, Sean, what did you think of the president, his comments last night? And then before he got to that, though, he did apologize to Brett Kavanaugh and his family for what he went through in that very bruising confirmation hearing.
Well, I think for every conservative, for every Republican that wondered what difference that election was going to make or wondered how Trump would govern, last night you saw the 69th judicial nomination under President Trump, the second Supreme Court, the 26th Circuit, and dozens of appeals courts. I mean, this president's legacy will go down as somebody who has reshaped the judicial branch to strict constructionalists. This is a huge win for this president, and it has galvanized Republicans headed into a key midterm election.
Sean, what's the impact of the president sticking by him? Because you had Kavanaugh, Justice Kavanaugh, looking at the president yesterday and saying, thank you for your unwavering support.
Well, look, Ainsley, I know you guys had Charlie on just a little while ago talking about the impacts of this election. America First has been out there with over $20 million in ads. This is going to be tight. What the president and Kavanaugh did was galvanize Republicans. There was a massive enthusiasm gap favoring Democrats 30 days out. This has made sure that every single Republican understands the difference of a Republican Senate and a Republican House versus one controlled by Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. This has tightened the gap. Republicans are now out there. Not as much. We've got close races in places like Indiana, Florida, Missouri, Montana. We need to get out there. But Republicans have now understood what that fight means and the need to get out there and vote with weeks left.
So a couple of weeks ago, CNN put out a poll, and the president was down to 36%. Now, other polls had him at 45%. But one thing is clear, it's now up. It's now at 41%, with disapproval at 52%. So it's gone up in the right direction. Now, the generic poll from Democrats and Republicans, when asked who do you want in the office in your state, in your district, it is now just a 7-point gap. What are the Republicans up against right now?
Well, again, I think in a midterm election, you have to look state by state, district by district. In the Senate, I think we've got a lot of close races, but I think we're poised to pick up a bunch of seats. You look at Heitkamp in North Dakota, there's no question that Kevin Cramer is poised to be the next United States Senator from there. Governor Rick Scott's doing a fantastic job in Florida against Bill Nelson. I think that's going to be a Republican pickup. Marsha Blackburn has surged ahead in Tennessee. In the Senate, I think we're looking really good, and Mitch McConnell's shepherding of this nomination really helped solidify that. In the House, I got to be honest, it's close. Republicans need to get out there and vote district by district. We're looking at continuing to put money into these key districts and put them over the top. But it's going to be close. I think that this last few weeks has really helped galvanize the enthusiasm among key districts as we head into this. Right. One really interesting point that's not being talked about, if you look at a lot of the key races in the House side, a lot of them are in the Midwest, in Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, places that have benefited from the president's renegotiation of NAFTA, now the U.S., Mexico, Canada agreement. Those policies where people are, whether it's dairy farmers, auto workers, people who understand the impact of trade and fair trade, understand what the president did is going to help them. That's going to benefit a lot of those key Midwest races, whether they're agriculture-based or manufacturing-based. The president's accomplishments on those fronts in particular are going to benefit them heading into this key.
And don't be surprised if North Carolina, also the floods, these people have historic losses. How the president's going to react there, getting them funds. And now with a hurricane about to hit Florida, which is so in the balance for the governorship as well as the Senate seat, performance will matter there on both counts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's the #1 function of government, is to protect and care for its people, especially in times of tragedy. And so while we pray for these folks as they head into these key moments, both the victims of the recent storms and the ones that are about to hit, how they perform at both the state and federal level will be important.
Sure. And Janice is going to give us an update on the storm here in about 2 minutes. Sean Spicer, thank you very much for joining us today from our nation's capital.